Hi everyone, it's Tracy Lewin.
And Satoshi Nakamoto. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, Satoshi. Are you ready to look back at the first 6 months of Bitcoin in 2017?
I'm ready to look back on the first 6 months of Bitcoin and Ethereum for 2016 because this has been actually 2017. We just went back a year in time because this has been the most exciting 6 months ever. But you know what? Time has gone so quickly. It feels like 2015 to me, still.
Yes. So let's just have a look at what Bitcoin and Ethereum are actually. And you know what's actually happened is we've seen the emergence of two massive cryptocurrency giants.
Yes, and there are two fundamental differences between them. I mean, if you look at it, both are blockchain applications, and Bitcoin really was written as an application on the blockchain to transfer money. That's what it was made for, and it works. It's definitely by far the most effective way to transfer money around the world. Ethereum is actually a computer language. It was written as a programming language on a blockchain to enable developers to actually write executable programs, which they've now dubbed smart contracts, but it's actually just programming. So it's two different things.
Well, there's been an astronomical rise of Ethereum, and so we're actually going to just have a look at what has actually happened and what events actually contributed to this in the last 6 months, and there've been quite a few substantial ones.
Yes, it's very, very interesting what happened over the last year, or actually half a year.
Half a year, yes. So let's just talk about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, still the king of cryptocurrency, still the most valuable currency out there, and certainly a trailblazer.
Well, the first thing that happened this year was almost like bad news, and that's when the People's Bank of China suspended Bitcoin exchanges for almost 4 months, and actually, people couldn't withdraw their money out of those exchanges.
Yes, but you know what the good thing though is that, we always thought and we always saw information saying that China, most of the trades are coming out of China, something like 98% I saw once. And what actually happened is this closure or suspension actually made us realize that China is actually not the biggest market.
That's right. And, and that's why the price dipped and then recovered very, very quickly after the announcement. And the other thing that happened is, trading actually then moved to the over-the-counter platforms like local Bitcoins. And it showed a record increase in the volume of people-to-people transactions.
Yes, it was excellent, I have to say. But the exchanges are coming back online now, so I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of a move away from that again. Of course, one of the big things was the ETF fever that happened. And I mean, honestly, there was such a lot of high expectation for this fund to be approved by the SEC.
That's right. I mean, the Winklevoss twins tried to get their first Bitcoin ETF approved, and then on the 10th of March, the Securities and Exchange Commission actually turned them down. And the price dipped actually dipped quite a bit after this announcement. But again, recovered, almost immediately.
And, they'd actually been working on this fund for over 4 years. So it wasn't, something that just, that they brought out. So it was actually quite a long process.
Well, there was another company, BATS, that filed, they also, in the same process, they were turned down and they filed for a review by the SEC. And the SEC then decided that they, going to review the situation, and we still have no answer. But I think it's just a matter of time, and, ETS will be accepted and approved. It's just, the question is just when.
Well, you know what? I think that this has been absolutely enormous news. The fact that Japan has recognized Bitcoin as a legal payment system. And they actually did it on April Fool's Day. So quite interesting. I wonder who thought it was a joke.
Well, April Fool's Day wasn't a joke for me because, as Satoshi, Donald Trump tweeted that he was Satoshi Nakamoto and pretended to be me. So I wasn't happy about that. But it was great news that Japan legalized Bitcoin as a payment system, because this really created the whole environment for using Bitcoin in the currency. They followed it up with the Virtual Currency Act, some accounting standards and stuff like that. And that really created the complete framework for banks, businesses, the government, and consumers and merchants to adopt Bitcoin into the Japanese system.
And if you want to go to Japan, you can now book a flight with Peach Airline, and you can fly around Japan and pay in Bitcoin for your ticket. So they really are promoting tourism in a big way. So very exciting stuff.
Very, very exciting. And, one of the major events of the first half of the year, that's for sure. And definitely going to set up a domino effect of other countries following. We've already seen that happening in a little bit.
Most certainly. And then, of course, there's been this big Bitcoin scaling debate that's been going on since the end of 2015. And we actually saw some bitter rivalry between two different groups. Bitcoin Core, which was supporting segregated witness, and then Bitcoin Unlimited.
That's right. And it's all about, trying to make transactions over the blockchain faster, because we've had these transaction delays, for days and days on end. And, and this agreement is actually vital that this happens and solve this problem, because, it's creating more and more problems as Bitcoin gets more and more used and with more adoption.
And yes, and this also did affect the Bitcoin price. It did dip a bit, while the people were watching what was going on. And now they actually agreed and that they would move forward. And there's a line in the sand that's been drawn, which is the 1st of August. And the majority of the miners are now actually signaling a segregated witness. But this also includes a block size change. So double the block size now.
That's true. And, as a test, Litecoin activated segregated witness successfully in May. So it actually works, So I think it will definitely happen that way.
And as we saw, Litecoin also had an increase in their price.
Tremendous increase in price.
And one of the other milestones is that Bitcoin actually reached the all-time high of over $3,000 on the 11th of June. So that was a biggie.
Yes, I mean, it made an all-time high. And but Bitcoin was not the only cryptocurrency that was running away from us. And we'll look at the others now. But let's look at Bitcoin in relation to, in relation to fiat money. What happened over the first half of the year?
Yes, well, this is the graph for the US dollar. And if you had bought Bitcoin with the dollar on the 1st of January, it would have actually grown by 148% to the end of June.
That is a tremendous growth, and just, shows how cryptocurrencies are outperforming fiat currency at the moment.
And the euro, it was 126%. And look at the pound.
Well, the pound has had all these problems with Brexit and, all the things happening in the UK with the election and stuff like that. Which,
yes. So 184% for the pound. Incredible.
184%. Unbelievable growth.
Let's talk about Ethereum. So there's been a lot of things that have actually happened with Ethereum, and really the fundamentals have changed dramatically this year.
Yes, the first thing was this enterprise alliance that was formed in February, which actually connected a bunch of big companies, banks, software companies, all kinds of businesses together. I mean, and they started this enterprise alliance, and it just shows that Ethereum are backed by business. I think that is the main thing that happened, and that is a huge thing, for cryptocurrency to get this amount of backing.
It is indeed. And the list just keeps on growing of companies that are joining. So the other thing that also happens is Ethereum is attracting so many developers. I mean, there's this Ethereum virtual machine that the developers work on, and they can test things, develop things, and it's completely separate from the Ethereum network.
Well, it's a testing network, right? So it makes it very easy to test everything. And you know, so very easy for them to create markets and smart contracts, and then test those contracts before they're actually listing.
And the other thing that they can actually do is, or what you could do on the Ethereum network is create a coin, your own cryptocurrency. So it's actually, there's a lot of these ICOs, and they're actually known as initial coin offerings, that are popping up all over the show.
Yes, I mean, and now people are starting to use these initial coins offerings as a way to raise money. So that has created a completely new industry. You know, previously companies like this would have had to raise either venture capital, or they would have to raise money from, you know, from the public with the IPO, initial public offering. Now the guys are offering coins to the public, which is an interesting development.
But one of the big questions is, you know, there's many people that say that there's no legal or regulatory framework for ICOs. But, you know, is this really true?
Actually, this is not completely correct. If you're offering any type of equity in your company, you can, in many countries, especially in the US, be classified as raising equity or selling shares. And you know, in that case, your coin could be classified as a security, and you would be caught in the net of securities law. And you know, I think just because something has been given a new name or new technology does not mean it's not caught in the regulatory net. Certainly, I would suggest that if you're doing a ICO, that you get proper legal advice to make sure that you're not falling foul of current regulations and legislation, of which there are numerous examples. So don't just think, oh, you know, this is not legal, I can do whatever I want. This is not true.
Well, you know, what we have seen is that these crowd sales, these ICO crowd sales, are actually raising millions in a matter of minutes. They really are. I mean, here's an example of Aragon, which has actually managed to get $25 million in 15 minutes. I mean, it's incredible.
I think also, you know, this is true that once the initial offering opened, that people bought up the coins in 15 minutes. But this is also creating a bit of a hype that is, you know, the way it's reported, that is inconsistent with the truth. Because actually creating an ICO and doing the proper paperwork and stuff like that is a 4 or 5 month process. And people like Aragon have been actually marketing, pre-marketing this cryptocurrency they created for weeks and months in advance. So even though the actual offering was taken up in this very small, short amount of time, the preparation and the work that went into it before it actually happened is substantial amount.
Well, a good example of that is a company called Civic, and they sold $33 million of tokens 8 days before the official offering was to take place. So obviously there was a lot of groundwork that was done there.
Exactly. And you know, this is the thing. You don't just wake up one morning and to say, I'm going to raise millions of dollars in 5 minutes with an ICO and then do it. You know, people are not that gullible.
Well, let's just talk about central banks now, because central banks are actually showing a lot of interest in cryptocurrency. I mean, like the People's Bank of China, Bank of England, even Denmark and Vietnam, and that's just a couple of countries that are looking into this.
Again, we're having a domino effect there, and you know, and we've heard that the Singapore central bank is developing the Singapore dollar on the Ethereum blockchain. You know, and this is amazing news for Ethereum. You know, if governments start to actually issue their own tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, can you imagine what will happen? This is one of the reasons why we've seen such a growth in Ethereum in the first 6 months of this year.
And talking about that growth, it means that there's been a massive increase in transactions. And just a while ago, there was a problem with a lot of congestion on the network. But what they did is they quickly increased gas, which is just a form of payment, to issue transactions on the network. So it seems that things are going a lot smoother now. More actions are being performed per block.
This made me smile a little bit because a lot of people in Ethereum were pointing their fingers at Bitcoin and saying, look, it's taking days and days for transactions to happen. You know, the network's congested. This is why we use Ethereum. And the next minute, Ethereum has the same problem, which just shows you that in technology, everything is not always clear cut. You know, things happen, but that doesn't mean that people should be dejected about it. Remember when we had email in the beginning, how long it took to get an email sent? And then when you added the attachment, you could have waited for quite a while. Now it's all instant.
Well, actually, we are in a bit of an instant society. We expect the email to get to us quickly, I suppose, and the same goes for transferring digital currency. But yet we
expect now the movie to be shown to us immediately once we press the stream button.
Yes. But actually, when you think about money transfer from bank to bank, I mean, it takes days. You know, not only does it take days, it's a huge cost. Yes, and it's a huge cost, and you know, a lot of hidden stuff there as well. So yes, cryptocurrency is the way to go. And let's just have a look here. Do you know that Ethereum actually also reached an all-time high? This time over $400, and they actually did it a day after Bitcoin reached their the all-time high. So 12th of June, so 11th of June and 12th of June, two very important days.
Very interesting, you know. And it's going to be interesting to see whether the second half of the year is going to outperform the first half of the year in terms of price movement. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, very exciting. So let's just talk about Ethereum. Here's a graph about, you know, if you had bought Ethereum with US dollar on the 1st of January, and it was back in those days, which is only 6 months ago, it was only $8. It would have actually, your $8 would have grown by 3,279%. I mean, massive, massive growth.
Isn't that amazing? I don't think there's anything else that can even come close to this. This is like, yeah.
Let's look
no
at the
wonder
euro.
There's a lot of people talking about a speculative bubble, you know, because a lot of this is driven by speculation. Although the underlying fundamentals underpin the use and the price, this is absolutely amazing growth.
Incredible growth. And here in the euro at 2,970%. And then the pound, 2,988%. So enormous, enormous growth. So let's just talk about, you know, in conclusion, strong fundamentals you mentioned.
Yes, and you know, strong fundamentals means that there's a long-term bullish outlook. I think in the short term, we can expect a lot of up and down movement in prices, and volatility will probably, you know, be part of this market for a long time to come.
Yes. So, you know, the question is, can you actually see the Bitcoin, sorry, can you see the value in Bitcoin and Ethereum? And we'd really like to have your comments below this video.
Well, remember, value is what you get and price is what you pay. So we would like to hear what you think, you know, what the value of these currencies are. And then also what do you think the prices are going to do over the next 6 months? And we'll gladly listen to your comments and, you know, and try to answer any questions that you might have. Just go to the link below, actually below the video, and leave a comment.
Well, there are certainly lots of very, very bullish predictions for Bitcoin. I haven't really seen much for Ethereum at this stage.
I don't think people know where to predict Ethereum because it's just about this, you know, almost a surprising surge in price.
Yes.
So that's what makes it difficult.
And makes it very exciting. So join our community. This is an invitation to anybody listening. We're on Facebook, YouTube. We've got a web page. We're kind of everywhere.
We're kind of everywhere. We also have two apps. One on the Android App Store and one on the, you know, the Apple Store. And very soon we'll also have the BitMedia app on the Bitwell Store. So, you know, join us and just go to the video below, and first thing you need to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll give you a free education.
It will indeed. So until we chat again, cheerio from me.
Ciao, ciao from Satoshi.